are going to lead off with an IGN poll that they did. This is interesting. They asked the public, which of these games do you want to see remastered? We had Dino Crisis, Metal Gear Solid 4, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, the Bayonetta trilogy, the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy, and Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. First place was Dino Crisis with a 31%. Metal Gear Solid 4 traveled with 27%, and then at the very bottom was GTA Chinatown Wars with an 8%. You know, it's interesting. Out of these ones, if we're just talking if we're talking remaster, I'm going to say Final Fantasy 13. I feel like those games, I've never played 13.2 or 13.3, but I played the first 13, and it sucks. But like,
really?
Like it does suck. Like it takes way too fucking long to get good. And even then it's like your interpretation of good is up to you. But like, I liked it though. Like I like the characters. I like the look. I like the story, even though it was kind of cringy sometimes. Like, and I think that is the only Final Fantasy game that hasn't really been ported to new consoles. Like that thing is stuck on PS3 and 360. So, you know, I would love another shake at it. And if they remastered it, then they would kind of put a fresh coat of paint on it. And maybe they would even, you know, make quality of life improvements, things that maybe, you know, bothered the shit out of people back then, they could fix. But yeah, I don't know. I'd love to give that one a try out of all the ones on this list. Metal Gear Solid 4 is another one. But I honestly do think Metal Gear Solid 4 will be coming soon in the collection 2, the Master Collection Volume 2. So I don't think that's a big worry. But yeah, Dino Crisis coming in at number 1. I have no affinity to Dino Crisis. I'm not a Dino Crisis person. But yeah, it's interesting. Chris, what did you think of this poll? What are your thoughts?
I like Dino Crisis. I just didn't know that everybody else was a big
Everyone
fan
loves
of Dino Crisis as well.
Yeah.
Like people like their dinos, right? People have been asking for that remake for a while. I played the original Dino Crisis on the PlayStation 1 and somehow got through it. I must have, because there's I mean, it's a fun game. The atmosphere is really cool. There's one really cool scene that man, it's been 20 years. But you're walking in a boardroom and the camera is fixed on this big glass pane of window that runs the whole area of the boardroom. So when you're in this boardroom, a T-Rex's head just smashes through the glass and tries to get you for like a really cheap but legendary jump scare. Right? But yeah, I replayed Dino Crisis. When the hell was it, Ryan? Because I did 3-4 years ago, maybe.
Something? Yeah, 21.
Yeah, like 3-4 years ago, and I beat it. And again, this time I had to use a guide. So this is why I said, like, I don't know how I did it back in like 99, 2000. I must have had a guide because the puzzles are just, some of those puzzles are just fucking annoying. They just really are. But to see it there as number 1 is pretty interesting. Darren, any thoughts on Dino Crisis?
Yes, I played the demo on the PS1. I remember that much.
Not the demo.
The demo. And I remember the blocky kind of graphics and everything else.
You're the demo god. Our demo god.
Demo god.
Suck it, Chris Jericho.
But I remember being like that kind of Resident Evil-y layout, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. I remember that much.
Running up and down corridors.
It's another. Yeah, exactly. It's another one of those kind of survival type games which we used to love back in the day. And yeah, I'd say why not? Dino Crisis. I'm all for it. But you know, in that list, I always kind of like the Rogue Squadrons. Sorry, Brian. They're actually pretty cool.
No, well, now I'm getting into the universe, so it might be in my
Ryan.
future.
We're
Ryan
reeling him
Star
in.
Wars fan just yet.
Yeah, maybe.
We're reeling him in. But yeah, the Metal Gear Solid 4 one would be clutch. That would be it. That would be insane if we get that. But yeah, Dino Crisis, man. From what I'd say too long ago, but I have some vague memories of it. Why not? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if Metal Gear Solid 4 wasn't on that list. Because, you know, the first place is Dino Crisis, 31%. Second place is Metal Gear Solid 4, 27.4%. I'm curious if you don't put Metal Gear on that list. Because that, to me, is like a newer game, right? Even though it's been out for like 15 years. Like, to me, it's still a newer Metal Gear, considering it only went up to 5. And 5 is like even 5 is how old now? 8 years now, Ryan?
Came out in 2015, so 9 years.
9 years, yeah.
Almost 10 years old.
Yeah, and I played 4 maybe 5 years ago, and I thought it still held up, so I was surprised to see that one on there. But yeah. And what is GTA Chinatown Wars? Is that DLC on Vice City?
That was a handheld game that came out for the DS and the PSP.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's in the universe of GTA 4. And you play as like you're in the Yakuza or the Triads or something. This is the one GTA game though that I've never really paid too much attention to because it kind of brings you back to that top-down perspective, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And like I don't know, I just wasn't vibing with it at the time, but I would try it nowadays. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 is like Final Fantasy 13. It's stuck on the PS3. Like that's how it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
I would like to see that one. I think the main reason why it's always brought up now is because every other Metal Gear is now accessible except that one. So it's definitely the one that just stands out, right?
Right.
If you guys like this video, be sure to check out the rest of the channel and consider subscribing. Go even further and subscribe to Podcast Fresh wherever you listen to your podcasts for new episodes every week.